I've always felt different. I've always seen things, but when I tried to express them as a child, I was always told to ignore it.
There were people that I didn't know that came to me and said, I have this message that I keep getting that I have to deliver to you.
All of a sudden, out of the shadows, a homeless man just jumped right in front of me. And he said, I'm a soul just like you.
I love it.
I wanted to understand the universe and who and what we are and what are we doing here.
We're all part of this amazing soul wave tapping into each other.
This was a major life changer.
You are a light. You have helped me a ton. Thank you.
You've given me the courage to live more from my soul.
Millions of people are awakening. So wake up with Michele Meiché, the place to hear the best-selling authors and experts in the fields of cutting-edge self-help, personal growth, metaphysics, and spirituality. The soul path of awakening. Understand what living awake is.
Beautiful people, beautiful souls. How's everyone doing? Welcome. If you're new here, hi, I'm Michele. And this is Awakenings, the place to get the inside information of the Great Awakening, connecting more to your soul path, your soul purpose, and living more soul express. Also creating and co-creating the new earth, as people call it. Has already been there, but creating from the new emerging consciousness. So we tap into all things metaphysics, spirituality, meditation, alchemy, esotericism, dream therapy, numerology, tarot, the esoteric in life, seeing and feeling what is below the surface and unfolding, and how to align more to your soul's purpose and connect more into a soul-fulfilling soul path. So we have great guests that come on. We have these great awakening conversations. And in fact, today we have Janelle Rae, energy healer and founder of the Energy Intelligence Method. She'll be coming on later as well. Get comfy if you are not yet. And get your favorite tea, coffee, beverage, whatever is sounding good to you right now. You can also call in. You can get the link. You can call in for reading, to connect, to say hello, let us know how you're doing, or let me know how you're doing, or other people in the chat. So one of the things I wanted to go, well, a few things. Let's get a couple things kind of out of the way. Ways to connect with me. I really suggest, for those of you that are really wanting to understand what is going on, maybe you want more clarity in your individual life or the world, is to connect with me further on Instagram. I'm on TikTok a wee bit. There's a archives and some awakening conversations on YouTube with Awakenings Michele Meiché podcast, and Soul Insights and Tarot, where I do soul guided, spiritually guided readings for the soul path, for soul activation, soul alignment and attunement, and really to connect in with your soul's unfolding. That's a big focus for me, as well as connecting in through Patreon. We have the Soul Path Awakening and Soul Path Journey group and community on Patreon, where we do deeper dives, more advanced metaphysics and spirituality.
Yeah, me too.
And then,
Bye.
Yeah, oops, our guest is on, and we've got to mute because she's not, our guest should be on at 12:30. Hello, Terry. Good to see you in the chat. Good to see you there. Okay, got a little froggy. Had to mute myself for a second. So we dive deep into, I do a lot of repatterning work. I do that individually, and some people, I'm going to share it here. Some people have asked about my Soul Path programs or working with repatterning, working with resonance repatterning, and repatterning more to the soul blueprint, getting rid of templates. As also using hypnotherapy. I'm also trained as a fellow of the National Board of Hypnotic Anesthesiologists. So I work medically, but also working with patterns or pattern recognition. So if that's something that you want to do as well, you can connect at at soulplayground.life, and or go on the website and kind of see. But this year, if you're wanting more support, more advanced metaphysics, more soul support, or soul self-study, more to connect more with your spiritual practice and understanding of your soul and what you're meant to do here, and just to connect with more soul-aligned community, you can definitely connect with me through Patreon. And there's different tiers depending on how much connection, support that you want, how much information. And I do guide messages, also some of my previous predictions and upcoming predictions for really between now and 2050 rather. You know, a lot of what's happening right now in the world is really meant to be. And I feel like once, and this is something that a lot of my clients and mentees and students have said, is that, oh, Michele said that was going to happen, or this was going to happen in the world. Some of you already know that 2017, I predicted COVID, everything that happened. And what I did then, it's not, yeah, it's great to have these predictions and have visions and have these gifts, but I take what I receive and help people plan their life. And it's like kind of like a weather report, like you know what's coming up, you know what the weather is going to be. So you can decide. Like I had a lot of people that would have lost their jobs had I not guided them. And I said it has to be before February 2020. You have to have an online component. Start moving all your stuff that you're doing more online, because you're not going to be able to go into, you know, offices or hospitals or, you know, whatever it was, meeting in person. So it does give, I've noticed for myself, it does give me a sense of stronger faith, trust, and I'm less anxious or worried, because so much of what I've seen, you know, over the last 20 plus years, 30 years really, has manifested, has come about. And so it does really show that there are some things that are destiny. There is a fate. There is a not only individual soul path that has a level of destiny to it. Yes, there are things we can change, and that's where wisdom comes in, whether individually or as a collective. There's certain things you can change, or you can forestall, or you can delay, or you can, you know, have it manifest in a different way. But there are some things that are just meant to be part of the trajectory, or they're already forming from the Akashic, the blueprint. You know, not everything has a soul, as a blueprint. So that can be from that Akashic to the in between the astral to the etheric. Things can be forming. And so it's understanding, you know, and to some degree not taking things personally. It's like when you get the weather report, you know, like where I'm staying now, we're having so much rain, these rainstorms, and it's been really cold. I don't ascribe that to me individually, like I did something wrong or how can I change this? No, it's how can I align to this? And so even things like tarot or numerology or studying your dreams, everything unfolds in cycles, right? The seasons, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Something cycles through to then move into a new phase. You could call it levels and phases. And so when you start understanding that and taking it kind of less personally, but seeing how things are affecting you, then you can align more to the energy of the cycle. You can align more to the energetics of it. So in saying that, one of the things I wanted to go over is just a little bit of an overview before we get to our guest. And people could definitely, you can call in or you can put questions in the chat, is to look at the overview of 2026 and what that energy is bringing in. Now, again, this is patterns. So last year or end of 2024, I started talking about what to expect in 2025 to help people prepare. Because when you know what the energetic cycle is, you work within the cycle, you can have a lot of fulfillment. You know, there could be a lot of healing energy, you know, for you, a lot of transformative energy. But it's just like when you know, it's like when you know your energy levels, your own biorhythm, you know, are you better doing things in the morning? Are you doing better things doing midday? Or there's certain things that's better at night? Or is it better that you get up early and do something? Or is it better, are you more of a night owl? When you understand your pattern. And another way to do that, obviously, is through astrology. When you understand your chart, you understand how you are, you could, yes, make adjustments, but the basic energy pattern is not going to change. And in fact, a lot of healing is not changing the person or their pattern, but the behaviors around it, or the conditioning, or the templates that are, I call them templates or overlays over the original design or pattern. Because we get conditioned by family. Some of it's well-meaning, some of it's ancestral, some of it's what we call generational transmission, or it's coming from, wounding, or it's coming from socialization, some kind of, social or cultural conditioning. And part of the ascension, rising out of the extremes of polarity that we're in, this great awakening, is changing how we express and experience on earth to be more from the soul and less from woundedness, conditioning, response patterns. So the game is really changing on the earth plane. And so we have to reorient ourselves to moving out of denser, stuck energies. Density is fine, but when things become too dense, too stuck, too stagnant, too fixed, that fixity doesn't allow new energy, new impulses, new spontaneous creation, insights. If we're too stuck in a pattern, it's no longer us, it's a pattern that we're reacting to or responding to. And that's the whole thing in pattern changing or interrupting patterns. When you get to spontaneous, a response coming from the higher self, that's like a passion, or even sometimes by saying, well, I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to respond to this, or I got to feel it out, or I got to think it out. That breaks up the pattern. That breaks up the, I always have to know, or I always have to say yes or no, or whatever it is. Because the more we get out of constriction or constricted patterns, condition response patterns, the more people get out of those patterns with us. We start responding actually more from consciousness, which is emerging, this unfolding of energy. It's much more lively, it's much more creative, and it's much more in alignment and attunement actually with nature. So one of the things that last year was a lot about grief and letting go. Last year we were in a 45-9 cycle. And that particular cycle has a lot to do with letting go, with grief, with not only individually, but the collective grief, the collective disappointments, betrayals, how we've betrayed ourselves, others have betrayed us or disappointed us, and and one thing I will share with everyone is that your individual cycles, your personal year, and I talk about this on Patreon, and I've done quite a few posts. I think there's a couple that might be, I think you can join for free you can join for free to get the numerology readings and cycles. The more in depth is in the lower to higher tiers. But if you want to understand more, your personal year is from your birth date to your birth date. It doesn't automatically change in January. That's the collective cycle. That's the mainstream world cycle or mainstream consciousness cycle. Because we've determined from January to January, you could do it from April to April, however. But just like your chart, your astrology chart, your solar return, your cycle or solar return, your personal year is from your birth date to your birth date. So you'll feel the changes probably a month or two, maybe even 3 months if you're really sensitive, to right around your birthday. You'll feel the energy changing. You'll feel the focus of like, oh, now I'm thinking of this, or I'm doing this, or this new focus is coming in. The collective cycle takes about 2 to 3, maybe 4 months for it to really kick in. And I was talking about this on other podcasts and live streams that I was doing, that as well as some workshops I did through Patreon, is that there would be this new energetic focus that came in around July, which is also when I started having this connection with 3i Atlas, which I didn't know at the time. That's what it was called. I was just connecting with it, and then later found out what it was, but through them and than some kinds of transmissions that I received. But you could tell something was different about last year. I'm saying last year because I'm kind of already in January. I'm in the new pattern, but you may still be feeling it. I had a lot of people tell me, oh my God, I feel so much grief about the world or what's going on in the world, or sadness, or I've had this loss, or, I got a divorce, or this person broke up with me, or this happened. And just, I feel so much disappointment. And is this all there is to life? And I kept referring them back to my posts on Patreon. Like I said, this was going to be happening. And so the shedding, and then I found out, which I didn't realize, that 2025 was the year of the snake, which is again also shedding. One of the big things, and this makes sense, and this is why I love working within cycles or these different disciplines or principles and weaving them together, even some of my shamanic training, and just weaving it in because it always makes sense. So the shamanic to the bereavement counseling, the transitional counseling, the letting go. It's different ways of looking at the same thing, because this is life. Life is on one level is very predictive through cycles. So it makes sense. One of the big things, and some of you may still feel this into the beginning of 2026, especially after this connection I'm having with you and sharing this information. You may be feeling like you have to forgive someone or something, and I mean it like in the true Native tradition, my Native American tradition, handing it back, like I'm not carrying this anymore. It just means, okay, I'm putting less time and energy on processing or working through this, whether it's to yourself. Sometimes you just have to make peace. It doesn't mean you have to go back to a situation or a person or relationship or everything's wonderful. It's not about that. It's just taking that energy and moving it forward, that focus. And it's a very organic process. You can't push it. You can guide it. You can do processes or communicate in ways that help one's process or go through something to allow their own body mind system to process it the best way. But for what's coming, starting 2026 into 2030 and beyond, this chunk of time and focus, we have to reclaim our energy and bring it forward and decide where and how we're going to use it. And it's a time to make peace with oneself, most importantly, and maybe other relationships or other dreams or goals or ideas or visions or jobs or things that didn't come through, or relationships. Yes, that's a part of it. But it's also the kind of making peace with, okay, this is what happened. This is where I'm at. Because sometimes a lot of what we experience is due to our soul. It's due to, there is a destiny. There is a fate to some of the things. Now, some things we keep maybe making the same mistakes over and over. And so on some level, we have to forgive ourselves for that why didn't I listen or get the healing or get the support, or this was my blind spot. But for this new energy, this type of energy, and creating a new individual and collective visions, dreams, goals, putting plans in place, we had to grieve a lot. Globally, internationally, collectively, on a group level, a societal level, some of the community level, a national level, within the realm of the earth game and experience, and especially individually. I was having a conversation with a really, really good friend of mine the other day, and I was saying, it's at one point you kind of have to pour, stuff has to be poured out. You have to release, you have to let go, of a particular dream, goal, or vision, or the way things happened or didn't happen, for something new to come in, to even recognize what is newly coming in, to feel it, to understand it, to embrace it. Because sometimes we hold on so much to our idea of what we think is meant to happen or going to happen, especially from an ego level. And we've been conditioned to do that. That narrative is changing. Even I would say that fake it till you make it, I would say it's more aligned to it, attuned to it. And let that part of you whatever you want to call it, the divine, the higher self, the soul, the part of you that's constantly regenerating, the eternal aspect of you coming through your body mind system as an instrument of the soul. There is this renewing aspect to us, but it can't get in when we're too constricted, too conditioned, when we have a fixed mindset. And sometimes I can have a fixed mindset, but I know that, my Mercury and Leo, I'll have to say, okay, let me just be open to feeling and hearing this. So if you know that about yourself, or you can be a bit stubborn, or that like, for me, when I hear whether myself, oh, I know what it is, I have all the answers, I know what I'm meant to do, I always know that's the ego, that's coming from ego. Because in truth, we're always adapting. There's always this shifting to make for the more ideal. One of the things the guides were sharing with me last year, they talked about resilience, teach people to be more resilient. And I was even staying in this place where they had all these pine trees. And apparently, when I looked up the spiritual meaning of pine tree, it has to do with resilience. The pine cone is resilient and reseeds itself. This year, it's optimization. You're going to see a lot with optimizing, peptides, supplements. You're going to see people wanting to optimize their life, optimize their relationships, optimize their body, optimize their brain, optimize their mind, optimize their food, eating better, optimizing, eating more optimally, finding those things in their life, systems and protocols that optimize. And so where we're coming out of this time of this deep letting go and moving on, it's like, what are we drawing in consciously? It's bringing conscious awareness, which is what the ego personality is all about, to what we are to be drawing in or bringing in as instruments of the soul, right? Okay, I see people in the chat. Yeah, if you have questions, let me know in the chat. So coming out of that 45-9 cycle, that clearing, that letting go, that shedding, the grief, the disappointment, the forgiveness, it opens new opportunities. Like, okay, this didn't happen, or I sabotaged this, or I did this, or I didn't do this, or they did this, they didn't do this or that, or the world went to the left and I want to go the right, or went to the right and it jogged to the left, or whatever it is for you that you're perceiving. And I say it this way because it is an energetics. You can now see where is the new energy coming in and how, what kind of quality is it, what's now required. One thing I would suggest to people is start understanding your own biorhythms, your own 4 to 6 hour rhythm. And whatever you're doing in your life, align more to that. Even if you have a regular job, or you're like, oh, Michele, I'm working 3-4 jobs, or I work a 9 to 5, or I do this, you can still adjust in a way that's better for your own energetic pattern, your own energetic cycle. That's going to restore you. That's going to connect you more to your, somatic aspect of you, right? The body wisdom, your intuition. It's going to put you in the most optimal frequency. It's going to optimize you in your own vibrational frequency and resonance, which is going to make you have better vitality and more energy, the right kind of energy, not frenetic energy that's innervating you, right? When we talk about things that innervate, it's an exhaustion of the nervous system. It's a depletion. So we're going to be looking at ways to, how can I have less depletion? How can I better utilize my energy, understand my the energetics of me? So that's a big part of it, because that the 2026 breaks down to a 46, which further breaks down to a 10 and then to a 1. It's very key. It's different than an 82, which breaks down to a 10 to a 1, right? An 82 or a 73. That 4 is bringing in some kind of stability, but perhaps an inner stability based on that 6 energy, which has to do with synchronicities, synergy, love, harmony. It's a harmonizing principle. So it can be very helpful right now if you look at what is harmonizing in your life. Whereas now, when we change, we have distortion, right? We have some dissonance. New, people talk about cognitive dissonance. There's something coming in that doesn't compute or doesn't go with what I thought was going to happen, or how I used to think, or my beliefs. Got to understand dissonance and allow dissonance in a conscious way. That's moving us out of our comfort zone on the mental realm. And so when on this earth plane, we have shadow and light. We have dissonance and resonance. Too much dissonance in your life depletes you. But some dissonance that could be a new person coming in, a new situation, that could be some kind of disruption. It's not all bad, just like the shadow isn't all bad. The shadow is just what you're not aware of and haven't integrated into your personality profile, let's say, right? It can be a leadership ability. You could be pushing yourself to be very external or outward, but the shadow aspect of you is maybe it's more introverted or going within. Or maybe you're always helping others, but the shadow aspect of you, wants to be supported, doesn't want to always have to support others. So some of this is going to be reconciled. This will be a year of reconciling differences, reconciling parts. I work a lot with work that I do called parts process, psychosynthesis, because every aspect of us is an energetic complex with its own thoughts, beliefs, and idea, the congruency. So there is going to be this push to how can I reconcile what's going on in my life or my world and the greater world, or the world at large, or the earth, or internationally, or with certain groups or certain communities or certain nations. How can I recognize what's going on and reconcile my path and what I'm meant to do and what others, whether individually or as a group? And so also the key is making better decisions in that discernment, spiritual discernment, by focusing more on what is resonating, what is bringing more life-enhancing energy, what is optimizing, what is harmonizing, what is based more on love, the binding force of the universe, that kind of coming together. What brings that synergy, synchronicity? What is mutually beneficial? That's synergy. What is where and how is what's coming up mutually beneficial? Big part, and I've talked a lot about this on this live stream and on my podcast. It's connecting to your higher self, understanding the subtle energy of you. Energetics so important in the new paradigm and beyond. Understanding that you're not just this denser form that you can see, that you clothe. That's like less than a quarter of who you are. Maybe it's an eighth. You're not a soul in a body. Your body is an aspect of consciousness, but your body is within your resonant fields, your concentric resonant fields of consciousness, right? It's a very small amount. So you really getting to the energetics of yourself, your life itself is really important. And that brings in being more intuitive, more psychic, the ability to shift in consciousness through slightly shifting your awareness, changes your energy, how your energy is manifesting, expressing, and being experienced. And there is ways to do this if you feel a resonance. I have it on my Patreon, but you can download the alignment meditation on my website, soulplayground.org, and use that. It teaches how to connect in through the auric field into the vibrational frequency of the higher self, and then extend and expand through the higher self and through the auric field, the etheric, the astral, the akashic, the spirit realm, the realm that is less diluted consciousness, awareness, spiritual energy, infinite creative intelligence of the all that is, however you want to term it. That's the key. That's going to be the key to health, wellness, prosperity, abundance. It's aligning to the abundance that's already there. So already we're changing on the mental realm to say, oh, it's not how do I make abundance? How do I attract it? How do I align to it? How do I align to the frequency of health? How do I align my body to that? How do I align my cells to that? How do I change or adapt or heal on a cellular level, on an energetic level, through the etheric, in the akashic? We're really moving into the transpersonal aspect of us. not getting rid of the material plane, right? That we're here to do that, but it's how do we bring that experience into the earth plane, into the mental realm or mental aspect of us. The 10 cycle is the wheel of fortune. This is what turns the wheel for us. This is what gets us in a new pattern. This year is about shifting into a new pattern. Let's see, who's waiting for a long while? Okay, if this is the guest, you're supposed to be scheduled at 12:30. So I don't know who this is that's saying that. Been waiting, hanging up now. I don't know who that is. Terry. Terry, I don't see you. We've sent your invite. I don't see you on the line, in the queue. So, oh, Teresa. Oh, try. I don't see you in the queue, but you can come on. Let's see. Let's see. Terry, Teresa, there's somebody. Hello.
Hi,
You're on air.
it's Teresa. Somehow I got named Terry on the nickname.
Oh, well, but it wasn't showing up anyway. Yeah, it's good that you put it in the chat because then I was able to send you a call in. Hi,
Yeah,
welcome.
because the message I got said that the host was notified that you're waiting to talk. Wait for the host to send you an invite.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't get it until you put it in the chat. So, yeah, so it's good that you put it in there. That goes for anyone else. If you want to get on air and I'm not getting a notification, then just put it in the chat because I do look down at the chat and yeah. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Who's that in the back?
My dog is barking in the background here. I don't know what's going on, but I just wanted to find out if you see anything.
Oh, can you? Because that's distracting. Is there another room you can go in?
Let me see what I could do.
Okay.
Lucky, be quiet. Hey, let me close the door.
Yeah, that helps because I can't.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you see anything for 2026. What happened the other day was I belong to another Patreon group, the Heal Squad, and there were birth chart readings with Deborah Silverman, and I wasn't really too familiar with her.
She's been on the podcast before. She's been on here.
Okay. When she did my birth chart, it was a quick reading. She said that I'm really an Aquarius. I'm not a Cancer because Uranus sits right on my sun in Cancer. And I thought that was interesting because I've never identified with Cancer anyway. And I've had a couple other readings and nobody ever mentioned that. So I just thought it was interesting. And she said it changes kind of the whole dynamic of everything in the birth chart. So I was just wondering.
She's saying you have Uranus on your ascendant.
No, Uranus is on my sun. It's right. It's sitting on my sun in Cancer.
Yeah.
So she said that really makes me an Aquarius.
Well, yeah, not really. It doesn't make you Aquarius, but you're going to think that Uranus is going to bring in this kind of innovative energy or unpredictability. Like I have Uranus right on my Mercury, Pluto on my sun. So it changes the quality of energy. I would say that's the best way to look at it. It's not going to mean you might have more affinity with Aquarius or Aquarius.
Hey, hold on. I've got to go because my husband wants to go out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I will call next week.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, that was a good question. And I'm going to kind of go into that a little more. So when you have a particular, especially a planet that is pretty strong, if it is conjuncting or on another planet, is going to color that or sign, as in conjunction or it changes the quality or the energy of how, it either makes it the original planet and the sign that the planet's in. It's either going to reinforce that or it's going to make it stronger. It's going to bring that energy in or highlight it in a different way. But yeah, I think you got to blend. Anyway, I hope Teresa calls back next week and we can go more into it, because there's so much more. You've got to look at the Mercury, how the mind thinks, how one communicates, how it does bring whatever is, like me with the Pluto conjunct my sun. I'm very regenerative. It brings in this strength, this regeneration. It brings in a lot of health and vitality, brings a very transformative energy in for myself and other people that I work with. But it's really kind of a blending. It changes the quality of energy, or we could say it enhances. Or for some, it could detract. It just depends what the planet is and the ruling sign of that planet, as well as the house. I'm a big proponent of looking at the house, the moon, because the moon ties you into the soul, and also your rising or ascendant sign, because that's how, not only how people see you, and it has to do with also your body, but it also how you view the world, how you navigate through the world. Anyway, fascinating. Well, I'm glad that she called in with that, and hopefully we'll dive more into it. So next week I'll dive more into, I wanted to just touch on the overview of what to start looking at, where and how you're initiating. That is transforming your world. This year is the overview is a lot about transforming your world, or transforming something about your world, or something about yourself, your existence, your experience. And to some degree, it's a personal kind of year, where people are really going to be evaluating, is this optimizing me? Is this life enhancing? Is this an alignment? Or really, I want to say, like kind of Dora the Explorer, or like back in the gold rush times or the early settler times. We're going into those times, especially between now and 2030, or really all the way through 2045 to 2050. We're establishing new, not only ways of thinking, believing, behaving, relating, different types of relationships, but ways of living. There's going to be a lot of changes coming up with where and how we live. Is it communal? Is it group? Certain neighborhoods changing, communities, cities, states. We are like the founding fathers, mothers, with the founding people. We are founding a new way. And so this initiation that's coming in or starting this year is really about that. How do I change my existing circumstances? How do I make them more ideal? And so a start with that is to look at the energetics of you, what really supports you energetically, not what you think is cool or hip, or someone told you was successful or told you what was spiritual, but really diving deep, doing some deep digging and feeling into the energetics of you, because you will then start attracting those that are supportive of that, where you can be supportive and support others in mutually beneficial projects and focuses. That's kind of where what's coming up. So it's really a very, very, very transformative year, beginning of a year. All right, let's talk energetics. Let's dive in a bit more. Now, again, if you have questions, let me know. We have Janelle Rae coming up, energy healer and founder of the Energy Intelligence Method. Hello, Janelle. Let's see.
Oh, how about now? Hi, everyone.
Hi, I do. Can you hear me?
I can
Hello,
hear you great. Am
Janelle?
I coming in?
Yes, you are coming in. Welcome.
Thank you. Love being here. Love this discussion. Exciting.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And so on point. Let me see. Okay, let me just get this other person. Okay, there we go, because they're still listening. Okay. Tell us, Janelle, a little bit about you and what you do. I love that you're working with energy and energy intelligence. I love the combination of you putting those two together, because to me that's so forward thinking. That's where we're going. That's where we are, but that's where we need to go more of individually and as a collective. So I definitely want to get your take on that. But just to start, let's connect in with you and a little bit about what you're about and how you started doing what you're doing now.
So I'm a country gal. I am out here in Central Oregon and in a ranch country. I have grown up rural, and I'm so grateful for
I
that
bet. Oh yeah.
because it fits right into my gifts.
Yeah.
I connect with animals. Animals are just such an easy,
Mm.
comfortable space for me. And
So you didn't
I
lose some of the connect, because I'm with you with connecting with animals and
yeah,
nature, trees. This morning I just did a walk
it's
in the rain. So it sounds like for what you do, this only helped connect, keep you connected. It sounds like the connection was already there, but where and how you live just really, it sounds like highlighted that more, reinforced it.
It really was like when I was I'm my earliest memories. I'm 2 years old. I'm on a big black mare that was my mother's, and I remember knowing her. So it's not,
Mm.
I'm two, and I've got my arms. I'm laying on her back. I'm bareback, and I'm wrapping my arms around, down around her neck. It's not going around her. My arms are like, 6 inches long, but I'm knowing her, and that's the imprint that I have. I know her. And that's how I navigated until I was in school, and I'm dyslexic with an auditory processing disorder. And I stepped into the world of words and confined classrooms and these small spaces with lots of bodies in them, and my sensory gifts that were so adapted to big spaces, connecting and knowing trees,
Mm.
knowing animals, was a literally circuit overload. So much of
Mm.
myself was shut down, not intentionally but by thought, but by that internal instinct that we have that keeps us safe,
Mm-hmm.
alive, and adapting to our surroundings. So when you were talking about, we have this package this energetic package that lives within our personal authentic frequency, that's so real for all of us, right?
Yeah.
We adapt, and we're genetically designed to adapt in the physical body. So I definitely went through that and shut so many parts of who I was down, which drives a wedge between who you are at the most authentic you, so many parts of your intuitive spiritual gifts, and this massive confusion begins. So it wasn't until I fast forward into I was trained professionally. I trained horses professionally, built a barn, had a thriving
Mm.
practice operation as far as a horse trainer. I attracted outlaw horses that were highly aggressive, and not
Oh,
because I'm
wow.
brave. Not because
Wow.
I'm brave.
Wow.
And so I would move these horses in the arena, take a step back, and I would just watch them with no human interaction. And I said, oh my gosh, you are biomechanically wrong. You are off. So my
Mm.
curiosity took me to that became my mentors, a vet gone Eastern medicine, and she did she did chiropractics also, and Chinese medicine for animals, and then a horse who was a chiropractor for horses, horse chiropractor, and then a gal that did body work, which 30 years ago we didn't say an energy healer, but that's what she was.
Mm-hmm.
And those three gals got the horses out of pain. I took them back to my facility, and I started doing the follow-up and the training. And the horses gave me the gift. It gets me choked up every time I feel and remember this. They
Mm.
gave me the gift of my gifts back
Mm.
to me. They opened up things that I had shut down because I didn't understand them. No one was talking about energy back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is in the early 70s.
Mm.
Nobody's talking about that. When I was a child, nobody was
Yeah.
talking about energy in my
What was so much
circles.
about the mind, though, even I would talk about this, even
Totally.
through meditation, even earlier, I was a dancer, and it was always your mind, even your body's tired, use your mind, get past it. It's like override the body,
Mm-hmm.
override the body. Meditation,
Mm-hmm.
override the body. If you have to have, I
Yeah,
had one meditation teacher saying, even if you have a itch, don't scratch it. And it's like,
that's it. Yeah. And
right?
we really, and that trained, literally, when we're in school, it trains the intuitive out of us.
Mm.
And when we're just, yeah, in general practice, trains the intuitive out of us. So the horses were touching that part of me. That was a place I was totally open. And that
That was a place that
reconnected.
you were open?
I was
Or,
open. When I'm working with a horse, I am not blocked in any way.
oh,
So
interesting.
I was
Okay.
letting them into me as I was helping them. They're going, "Oh my gosh, you get me," and I'm like, "Yeah, I get you." And then they said, "Okay, let me show you how to help me." And they would take my hand in their lips, and they would put my hand on the places that were ready to open, and I could see into the body. I could see what was subluxed. I could see stuck, where in the meridians were flowing the wrong direction. I could just see this stuff and wouldn't understand. I'm like, what am I seeing? Take it to the gals that were helping me heal horses. And they said, "Oh my gosh, Janelle, you're seeing, feeling." I would get knowings. And that was the beginning of my journey. That was my activation. And from then on forward, I studied different energy modalities. I studied with shamans. I studied with different types of energy healers, Reiki style, connecting to dimensions and channeling and these beautiful, beautiful opportunities that we have through our energy body. So that's been my journey. And about 7 years ago, I said, I want to get down to be the most authentic me I can be. And that was the next catalyst into what I talk about now, energy intelligence method. That's where that was born. It's the rubber meets the road structure of, okay, we've all experienced being born into a culture, whatever it is. No guilt, no shame. It's just that's where we were born, and that's okay. Now, how do we recognize what isn't us
Yes.
and what's ready to shift now? And the pieces and the clarity, it's so helpful to have things to look for, because that's a big question, right? It's like, I don't know. And we're not going to guilt and shame that structure. We needed that structure to get us to where we are today. It's good. It just, many of us now are saying it doesn't fit me anymore. You get that pull, that feeling of, okay, I am ready to get down to the most authentic part of me. And guidance gave me a vision about a year and a half ago. I was sitting with guidance and we were doing some grid work and healing, world healing, and they gave me a vision of the awakening that was happening. I've just loved your discussion. I was just like cheering you on. I'm like, yes, because I've been online as far as how guidance has been speaking to me, right in line with where and how you're receiving messages about 2025 and how the trajectory in 2025 as far as the awakening of people to this side of them, this energy side of them. And guidance says, now I need you to create I need you to put tires on this machine.
Yeah.
Help people move from, I know I can feel, but how do I implement? How do I start this journey?
That's the next level. You've got set the implementation, because and that's why I say, when I've really looked at this time, and as a channeler, but also through the astrology and looking at cycles, it's like, it is like founding, like we may not be creating like a new city or state, like, oh, I have to put buildings here, but like you said, the tires, the wheels, the structure, what is the new structure and form? How do people understand this and begin to bridge from the old narratives and ways of operating?
Yeah, exactly. How do you bridge? And I remember in my journey work how it felt when I said, I want to get so authentic. I just want to start just peeling these layers off. Anything that isn't me, I want to just be me and operate in that truth. And it was scary because I didn't know me. You know, I knew the version of me that had gotten me to that place. Thank you very much for that version.
Right.
And the uncertainty and how odd it felt. I remember carrying and feeling like I was carrying in my field layers or backpacks. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got backpacks, not one. I got several backpacks of rocks, and I'm packing this through life. And I can tell it's not me, but I can't see through it enough to see, well, where do I even begin to start shedding these? So that's the energy intelligence. Where do I begin? How do I begin? And the day I had my biggest breakthrough, it felt like energy shot through the cosmos. Whatever I was carrying shot through like asteroids from my space to the ever places. I just, that's a word because it's just like, I don't even know where all it went. It just, pieces that I had packed were not just this lifetime's. This was my epigenetic history, and it was also my energy genetic history. And I'm observing that many of us that are being called to this authentic place, like you, like me, and so many that are joining us here, so glad you're here. Those of us that are being called to that authentic place, we are also being called to connect to that energy that we are, the energy that knows why we came. Our energy came to this earth right now, right on time. And we're here to heal not just this physical form and this physical energy body that we exist in right this very second, but we're here to heal and remember who we are and in our energy form, in our eternal form. And we are healing for the karmic paths for the energy generations in all dimensions, in all past, present, and future. We're here because we're part of a group, a collective that are joining our energy gifts. Our energy our energy knows what to do. We're just learning in our humanness to work as partners with it because we're part of a very specific and important and just dynamic, if you will, role in collectively elevating and shifting energy past, energy present, and energy future. We're playing a role, and our energy gifts are key in that. And in a conversation like we're having today, our energy knows what to do. Just in a conversation where we're connecting on this platform, it's interacting and shifting. It's shifting
You know what's
the
interesting,
world.
Janelle, is that I had a connection with 3i Atlas, and that's a whole other story. But the thing they said is you have to talk. And I had been saying this for a while, like telling people, call in, talk, share what you know, share your questions, share what you're experiencing. But there's something, and you just hit on it, there's something in the interaction, like us talking, not even the words, but the vibration, the energy of the imprint of what we're saying. I just, when you were saying, sharing, and you're talking, I was thinking, okay, it's being transmitted, translated, transmitted, transformed through the energetics, that it has, the memory is in the energetics of us.
Yeah. And the shifts that were meant to happen are happening right now. I mean, isn't that amazing and beautiful?
Yeah, it is. So well, I have a couple questions. First of all, I'm going to write the other one down. I want to go back to what you were doing, the different disciplines that you were studying and utilizing and integrating. What do you think, see, and feel, what's the common thread energetically, whether a high insight, a discipline, an understanding, a doctrine? What's the common thread to the energetics of what you've done through different modalities, whether shamanically, Reiki, with working energetic with the horses? Did you see a common thread or theme or understanding?
That's a really good question. I see a common theme. What I see one of the pieces is that each piece is dealing with energy. Yeah, everything's energy. And each modality is reaching a frequency that's touching a level, layers within our physical body, layers within our energy body, layers within the earth itself, the plant, animal kingdom, and the dimensions that run between what we physically see. So each component brings a frequency that touches a layer in a way. And I find each of them equally valuable, equally potent, and which one to bring in would be guided by wisdom to say, okay, what needs to shift? That shows us what to bring in. And another example of that would be, we have sound bowls that clear energy. We have, the gongs, which is connected to that. We have herbs that carry frequency that heal the physical body and support the energy body. We have light language. Some people really are masters at channeling different forms of light language. It's frequency. And I can have heat from a fire, which is a frequency. I can have a color that matches that frequency. I can have a sound that matches that frequency, yet sometimes color itself is the best modality, sometimes sound itself, sometimes heat, yet they are a matching frequency. So it's in the wisdom of the practitioner, it's in the wisdom of the healer to be guided, so it's the wisdom of the collective that we tap into that shows us which modality supports this individual or myself for the highest and best. What is the most supportive modality?
And so is part of it the understanding that it's the energetics, even before we get to the mental realm or beliefs or mental constructs, that it is ultimately going back into the energy of something, the vibration and the frequency?
I believe and see through the lens I see through, it's all energy. Yeah, it's all energy, because emotion is self-created energy. So we have emotion, but that's energy. We have our actions. Well, that's energy. We have our experiences, and that means we collect those through our senses, which is energy. Those are frequencies that come through our ears, come through our eyes, come through our taste buds, if we talk physical senses, our heart, our feeling, our tactile senses. And then we have that collection of energy gifts, sensory gifts, that work with our physical sensory gifts. And that creates a collection or a data, a picture, if you will, a memory that's all been put there through our senses. And that is energy. So everything is energy. Everything is energy. And those frequencies are also, then our physical body, our inner is measurable frequency. What frequency is our bones? What frequency is our heart? What frequency is the soft tissue in our body? So, yes, everything, we start with frequency. It's at the root. So if we talk about, I'm writing a book right now, loving this experience because it's my first. Woohoo! And I know when I'm talking about trigger removal. So when I'm talking about trigger removal, we have a lot of brain work that we can do around triggers, like get logical, but that's only, brain comes in absolutely last. Like there's 0.3 of a second, something like that, where I actually have a reaction before my brain even becomes aware that it's happening. So approaching triggers through logic is just totally backwards to me. It's totally backwards because 80% of it is in my field, in my body, and it's all energy. And I say, well, let's even take it a step further. When did this start originally? What is the package originally? Because something started at the root to cause it to be in my field. So if I can heal and shift frequency, which we can, at its root, then the trigger will cease to exist.
Yeah.
So
That's why I'm
really
always
we
telling
are.
people, by
Yeah.
the time you get to the behavior, the thought, and then
Yeah.
the behavior, it's way late on the chain. It's the energetics, it's the sensing, the feeling. And to some degrees, I like what you're saying about emotions, because to some degree, and I see that I used to teach school, and I saw this with like little kids. When you're little, infant on to age probably about 5, we don't have the language. We sense something, but then a lot of times I feel well-meaning people, the adults, say, "Oh, you just have anxiety." They start naming it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when something comes up, we've got this name for it, which it may or may not be that on an energetic level. It may be just something, who knows? It can even be excitement or anticipation. But I do feel that getting back into the energy, stepping it back instead of overly focusing on the action behavior, and then also the mental realm or the mental construct or ideas or belief on it. What, like you're saying, what came in the field? What is going on energetically? What were you sensing, intuiting? What were you feeling? And I feel like that's right. When you can work in that space or be in that space, I mean, ultimately lasting change has to come from that. It has to go to the energetic,
Mm-hmm. Because those energetics
preservation.
will right. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead.
The energetics trigger a thought, don't they?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. A thought of what we want to experience or what we think or what we have. But it also, as much as I love thoughts and I love writing and I love words, but at some point we have to even go beyond that, because that can then keep us stuck in some kind of limiting form or construct. I think we have to be willing to go beyond the thought, go into what started forming the thought.
Mm-hmm. And if we get heady, because we think, well, why? Our brain loves to think. I mean, like you started this conversation, we were trained to use our brain. We were trained to logic our way through things. And in this new era, we are being asked to ask the brain to take a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
And it is about following you. And we've also been trained following your heart, following your person, deeper than even your heart. The heart's a part of it, but it's deeper than that. It's that authentic frequency, your eternal frequency, that higher self frequency, whatever words are resonating with you, but that higher frequency. We're being called to tap into that and to be an individual. And something that when I'm wearing I'm a learning specialist, and I work and have worked for the last 15 years with learning differences. So dyslexia and in math, reading, writing, and the ADHD piece with executive function, and into our neurodivergent community and that beautiful giftedness. So when I'm wearing my learning specialist hat, I see how individuals, and I felt it too as a learning difference individual, I felt how I'm like, wow, I'm wrong. All the red ink on my page. I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So I start taking this beautiful shape that I am naturally and cutting off the corners and squishing it in a bit here and squishing there to conform into what is called acceptable, what gets the star and the sticker on your page. So
and
that can be applied
the teachers are taught to do that.
I know, right?
There's some change a little bit now. I have a client I'm working with, a child, and she was saying how she's very visual. She has to write things out to understand it, and she's very high IQ. the teacher got upset with her. And I said, well, you could say that there's different learning, representational systems, and this is how you process. She tried, she used her words. She was really good about it. And then I ended up saying, well, that's the teacher's shortcoming. She's uncomfortable with it, but it's not that you're doing anything wrong by drawing a picture of what you're hearing. And that's how you remember. That's how you take notes. That's fine. That's a valid representational system. So I'm hoping, I don't know if you see it I haven't been in the system for a long time, but I do know back in the day we'd have meetings and we were even, it was like, heard him in the middle. I didn't myself. I was kind of, fringe about it, and because I had different training. But if you think about it, Janelle, it's not just in our educational system, it's in the mainstream world system, that if you're, like you said, they call divergent, but it's just you're processing differently or seeing something differently. There aren't yet more systems in place to support that, understand that, and support that, and guide from that reference point.
Yeah, there's a few outliers, but in the mainstream, and that's what we're being called to. We're being called back to that original you. And it's just not in any box, because you are that unique. Yeah. And that ability, your gifts, your intuitive gifts, your spiritual gifts, your physical gifts, they're all designed to work together. And knowing those and working in and within that space is where we get clarity. That's where we get that fire in our belly to step out and do the work we're doing. That's where we come alive, is when we step into that form of us, all those parts that are designed to work together. And it's the journey of understanding, well, what does that look like? Because when you are one of one, you're like, you can't look over the fence and go, well, let's see, how does it work for you? But I don't work that way. I don't look like that. And it's like, yeah, because you are one of one. But there are principles. And that's what we can draw on. It's like there are principles on how we can find and identify, wow, my gifts work like this. Okay. And once we start talking about that and start identifying, oh my gosh, I am psychic, but my gift works like this. It's not like we see, television has done us a disservice, in this, because it paints this one picture.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
And it works so many different ways for us as individuals, as intuitives, and same with being a medium, and same with being a hands-on healer. These words that we've created pictures for through our exposure.
But you're right, media. I remember years ago when I worked more in person, this woman, I guess somebody had referred her, and she drove up, and I was running errands or did something beforehand, and I knew it was her. We parked right near each other, and I jumped out and I said, hi, and I said, Michelle, and I could tell she had a shocked look. And I said, oh, you didn't think I would look like this? And I said, what, do you expect like big hoop earrings, a turban, or a big, caftan? And she said, kind of something like that as a psychic, because I had jeans and cowboy boots on and a puffy jacket. I was like, I guess looked cosmopolitan. She was thinking, Madame Cleo with the caftan and a big hoop earrings, or lots of gold, lots of silver jewelry like Wicca or something. But we had a laugh about it. But I could tell she thought, "Ooh, she doesn't look psychic." That was the whole look. And so that I agree with you. We've gotten these kind of narrative, or Janelle, the opposite. I've always sometimes heard people say, "Well, I don't want to change to look this way or do this, or maybe I can't be psychic or can't be an energy healer, or because they dress a certain way." Maybe they don't wear all white, or you do yoga, or, whatever those tropes are. They're like, well, maybe can't be this way, or do I have to change to be this way? So yeah, I love what you're saying about the individual.
It's very individual. Yeah. And I get asked, I was going, well, I was having a conversation with a gal yesterday. She goes, but how does it fit into my life? Like, how is this practical? That's a big question too. It's like, what's the practicality of this? And it's like, well, that's the beauty. It's designed exactly for what you're designed to do. And she's works with in the healthcare. She's been in the healthcare world and highly intuitive, highly has knowings about things. And the clearer she gets, the more that she's doing the work to clearing out what isn't hers, what doesn't resonate with her, and bringing resonance, like just that beautiful balance to center. She goes, oh, she can follow the energy. So it goes for her gift and how she works. She can feel and follow the energy. Like there's all sorts of choices that she could bring to the table for this individual in her line of work. But she goes, no, I follow the energy and I pick up what pings, to use her words, what pings for her.
Yeah.
So she's working in healthcare and finding a direct application to her intuitive gifts and her insight gifts.
We had a comment in the chat. I'm trying not to overly identify myself with my ADHD or any label I keep. Also, since I'm off stimulants lately, perhaps less labeling and more understanding. Yeah, what is the balance, do you feel, with that, with Janelle? With the identifying, what are your thoughts on that?
Some of the people, when I'm wearing my learning specialist hat / energy hat, want to know, hey, why do I have these symptoms? Why do I struggle to put, for time management? Why can I not feel the passing of time? Why do I struggle to follow a sequence of instructions? Why does time pressure blow my circuits? They want a why. And when they hear you are ADHD, you have the symptoms, this is ADHD, it just kind of a sigh of relief. Okay, I'm not crazy. There's a why behind it. And I'm hearing you, Bailey, because I don't want to be defined by it. Beautiful. Because in and within the I call it the ADHD giftedness, those beautiful, powerful gifts that come with being ADHD, and with a grounding tool and some understanding, okay, my gifts within ADHD are these. And the more understanding, so as I'm working across the table with the work that I do in the ADHD space is one-on-one. So as I'm looking across the table and I'm talking to the individual and the clarity comes, I'm like, oh, I work like this. Then the symptoms, the things that have been paralyzing and frustrating and really embarrassing for some people at times, like can't remember an appointment. There's different things that can be very real and frustrating and bring embarrassment. Those go away as the clarity comes in. So I don't have to be defined by my ADHD because I define it. I've got these gifts in who I am in this ability. And same with the dyslexia and the other pieces. There's some superpowers within. The struggle is what guidance has used to get our attention. The opportunity is to come in and take a few steps back from the struggle. The answer isn't directly in the struggle, but it stopped us. And it's like, oh, an example of this is when I was in 3rd grade, I'm trying to spell. I can't spell to save myself. And I'm trying so hard. And this was a soul-crushing moment for my little 3rd grader self. And I prayed to God because I knew God could literally do anything. And I said, you've got to heal me. I am hitting my head against the wall. I'm so frustrated. I'm so embarrassed because everybody else can spell. I'm embarrassed to write anything in front of anybody. It was such a traumatic moment for me. Fast forward, and I'm doing the layers of healing from those experiences. And I was like, so why didn't you heal me? Why didn't I shift? Why couldn't I shift out of that? And guidance was speaking to me and said, because you weren't broke. There was nothing to heal. So in these, what are labeled as disabilities, before we understand how to work with us, I can spell anything I want now. I can do anything I want. I just had to learn how to work with me. How do I perceive in my perceptual talents the world and then put language together that way? And it's fine. I'm not disabled at all. And how is my giftedness in all the way that I perceive, feel, know from my root chakra up? How do I work? That's what guidance was wanting me to see. They said, we're stopping you because we want you to, you're not getting the point. So how do I step back and get the point? There's the magic. And there's the beauty in it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're able to help others too. It's for you, but then, like just now what you were explaining, it's just, I always say spirit doesn't waste anything, or God, nothing's wasted, it always will have some
Exactly.
good, focus for whatever it is that we're doing. Well, it can be used in another way, or for ourselves or other people, which
Yeah.
is always the best. If somebody has something or has gone through something or some experience, then we're more apt to listen because they've gone through it.
You just speak that energy intelligent method, sister.
Yeah,
That's
that was my
exactly what
next
it's
question. Janelle, that was my next question.
about.
So what exactly is that? We've been talking a bit about energy and patterns, but that energy intelligence method. Can you tell us a bit about that?
It is that you just laid such a beautiful introduction to that, because it's like there's nothing that's wasted. Everything is right on time. What we have done is we have walked away over time knowing how to translate it, how to understand what guidance is showing me. And so energy intelligence is breaking it down so that we can reconnect to the part of us that knows what this means. What is guidance? Why is that struggle showing up for me? It wasn't about reading at all. It wasn't about any of that. It was about, Janelle, you've got a superpower inside of you, and we want you to connect to that. Another conversation with a good friend, and she had just up-leveled. She had just went to a clinic, to an in-person event, and they had some beautiful healing moments, and just she up-leveled. And she was calling me. She was so excited about it. She's sharing with me. A week later, another conversation, she's going, my world just went to bleep in a handbasket. She said, what just happened? She's in conflict with her husband. The Christmas ham fell on the floor and went all over the place. It was just a mess, an absolute mess. And I said, okay, first take a breath, take 2 steps back. You up-leveled, but your surroundings haven't shifted with you yet. So,
brilliant.
yeah. So let's just take a step back, because her brain wanted to get into what's going on, wanted to engage in the conflict, in the chaos. And I said, no. That's what we've been trained to do, is problem solve in the moment. But that's not it. Take a few steps back. You up-leveled. Now allow love to come into your space and invite it to level up to match where you are now. And she did. And the conflict stopped.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's energy intelligence. It's the ability to not engage in what seems the immediate and which is absolute dissonance. When you feel that, I use that word all the time, so I thought it was so cool that you brought that in. That's our sign to take a couple steps back.
Yeah. And I like what you said with this, because I remember years ago studying metaphysics and manifesting, drawing in and creating or co-creating. And one of my teachers was saying, a lot of times, a lot of what we want to, could even be longer, 20 plus years, but it can take a few years to manifest or draw something in or create something or build something, right? And then we shift, and that thing can come in. That's why I always say we can always say no. We might say, not now, I don't want this anymore. But I think you bring up a really good point about our existing circumstances, our little world, relationships. And also sometimes we're shifting, but like you said, either the environment or the other person hasn't yet shifted to match where we're at now, or what the requirement is. And sometimes it takes a conversation, and sometimes it's just an energetics that, it can be that kind of bouncing off of. But I think that's really important, because very often I'll hear, well, I want this now, or I'm doing this, or I'm focused here, or why isn't this happening? And it's like, well, yeah, you shifted. You had an energetic shift that shifted your mindset and now your expectations and what you want. But that just happened. Your world is not yet reflecting that, or the circumstance. There's sometimes even the breaking or dropping things, that old energetic mold now is being dissolved, displaced. It's being restructured to conform to now where you're at, right?
Exactly. And if we get engaged in the drop tam, if we get engaged in the chaos, we'll pull ourselves back to that frame in time, that road, that energetic timeline. We can pull ourselves back there by engaging in that. So I encourage people to just really breathe in the love energy into your space, and with the intention to let everything elevate with you, even your computer, if you're a business builder, if you drive a car to work.
Oh,
yeah,
you just said it.
Everything.
I call them glitches. When you're shifting, things will get glitchy. The computer, the phone, the software, it responds to that shift, and it hasn't yet you've recalibrated. It hasn't yet recalibrated with you. What would you suggest also we're talking about this now, you've given some suggestion, but let's say someone's hearing this and going, oh my God, I'm going through this. You said love. You said, is it not dwelling on it so much, or is it understanding it, or just allowing it? What would some of that look like?
It'll bring in an emotion in your body,
Okay.
whatever the event is. Let's say the drop tam, and you're looking at the person that dropped it, like, seriously, what the heck, right? Or the glitchy computer. This happened for a gentleman that was talking to me about this, and he said, my computer lost a file I had been working on for months, and it's gone. It's literally gone. So he had a choice right there.
Yeah.
He could get, in the physical form, and we are human, and we're not saying don't be real. We're saying be real. Be real. If you're frustrated, please be frustrated and let it out. Your tummy does not want you to swallow that frustration and anger. Let it out. Be real. But it's in the letting it out, then don't fixate on what's going on. How do I fix this? Don't fixate on the problem. That's where we can get sucked down that rabbit hole. What we can do is acknowledge it. Holy moly, what just happened? Get your frustration out, and then sit with guidance and say, oh my gosh, thank you. You've got my attention now. You've stopped me. Thank you. Bring the love in the space, especially if you've just elevated. Definitely bring the love in the space, because that's probably what's going on. Possibly guidance is stopping your feet on purpose. There's something about where you're being guided, that what you've created was for a purpose, but that's not now. So taking that step back and realizing that we hold everything in an open hand. And we hold everything in that everything shifts and moves right on time for my highest and best. Thank you, guidance, for stopping my feet. I don't get what this is about, but I'm open and ready to hear guidance and receive it. And then you let it go. Let it go, because your brain will want to micromanage it. It'll want to take control. And what needs to happen is things need to shift. And for this gentleman that was sharing with me about the file, what he realized, what his guidance showed him was, he goes, that was good because it trained me. He was making a course for himself to sell and walk with people, a beautiful course. He did a great job on it. But guidance says, I was training you. I was helping you understand this. but but that's not complete. I want you to focus with your people here. And so it was right on time. He downloaded this incredible, he's got this download ability gift that's just out of this world. And he downloaded the new material in a couple days. It was complete.
Wow.
And it was like right on time. So if he would have stayed in that place of wrestling with the loss, he'd have missed this opportunity to shift and get something so much better.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. It in a way, it's also retraining that not everything is bad, or to look at it not as a negative or something we did wrong, because it's coming in a different form. The messaging, and sometimes when we're shifting, in the shamanic tradition, like breaking, they have a saying that when something breaks, and continually you keep breaking stuff, kind of like better that than you. That's something that you're shifting. Yes. I had that, I think it was, last month. Well, actually, beginning of this month, I had done this wakeful dreaming, inner plane journey work, and shamanic ritual. And I knew when I'm preparing, I'm obviously in the process too. So I was shifting. And Janelle, I was reorganizing light bulbs and certain things, and they were high up in a cupboard. And one of the bulbs must have been in a different, I don't know, positioning or something. And it shattered. And I thought, oh, breaking. Okay. Clearing the energy's shifting. 2 other things I broke. And then when I got to was setting up for the inner plane journey and the ceremony and stuff, with the other people I was doing it with, these cards that were, I know what it was, the abalone shell and these cards and this, the smudge stick, everything just fell. And people were like, oh my God, is that okay? And I said, no, this has been happening. This is good. Everything is, and because the people, they're in it too, once they sign up. And so it was this collective of this energy just breaking, dissolving. Whatever was too rigid or stuck was just seeking this release. And I think it's so powerful when we can look, and of course you would know this also with nature, with the animal beings, and everything is having its messaging, and on some level is life enhancing. It's either a message of what's going on, or a message, pay attention, listen, or, I just find it so powerful to look at things that way sometimes, just to pause and go, okay, there's a releasing that's happening here. How can I kind of reframe this and realize something's being broken up, or this is the glitch that's happening. I'm almost like gear shift, right? Where you're shifting that gear and it's not yet in the gear, not yet in the new gear.
That's so true. And we're not comfortable with messy. And truly, nature's processes and shifting is messy. Spring is messy. Winter to summer, that's messy. I think that's a great story or example of get comfortable. It doesn't have to be whatever we've defined as right or perfect or flawless or seamless. Nature doesn't work that way.
Now, do you think that as we connect more to the energetics or bring that into focus, that we're able to handle and or adapt more that messiness or uncertainty or the glitch? Can that bring more? Because it does seem to be, we're conditioned to not have discomfort, but shifting and glitching has some level of unpredictability to it.
Yeah, the more of we get what isn't ours, what isn't our authentic frequencies, and bringing forward what is us, because we don't want to lose in all of our shedding and clearing and elevating of our frequency, being mindful that we're bringing the wisdom with us, all the experiences we've ever had, all that beautiful wisdom. It becomes easier and easier just to see guidance at work, energy at work. I think that comes with the practice and exposure. You get to know how energy works, one. Two, you get really good, or you get a lot better at asking, knowing we often are asking the wrong question. We're asking within the moment, within the emotion. Why? Fix me. Fix me, I'm broke. Within the why did I lose this? The emotion of frustration. I worked so hard on this file or this program. Why did I lose that? The question is, if we ask it within the emotion, it's the wrong question to get the answer we're really looking for. So with practice, with the clearing and the work, you get to see how you work. I mean, that's why the stuff is there. That's why the dissidents, the pieces that are not us, are in our space, so that we can, as we shift that, it's there right on time, right on purpose, so that we can learn about when I shift that, I get to see how I work as an intuitive. And then in that connection, that gives us more clarity when we go to translate, to understand events and things that are going on around us.
Now, you mentioned question. What is the right question? Is it not why is this happening to me? What is the question, do you think? Or does the question change?
The question, I think when you said the right question, exactly. I think we can say, what's the most beneficial question for that moment? Yeah, the most beneficial question. And it's definitely not within the emotion. That's a principle that you can hang your hat on. I love saying take 2 steps back, because we really got to get out of that emotion. We got to get out of the scenario and then be in a space of, there's different things I will ask people to look for. I'll be like, okay, one, when I look at somebody, I can see, oh, it's showing up for you right there. I would like you to touch that. Tell me what you see, feel, know when you touch that in their body, that space in their body. But for those that are listening, one of the things you can do is take that 2 steps back, and you can take a couple really deep breaths. Go sit with a tree. Trees are great for this. Go sit with a tree and just go, guidance, you got my attention. Thank you. And it might be something that's ready to shift. It's a piece that is ready to heal in you, a frequency that's ready to upgrade with you. It could be that guidance is simply guiding you through a space, through an old ceiling, an old place that you used to be, and now you're elevating, so it gets a little messy around you. So they're just like, just ignore it. It's not part of you. It's just the ripple effect of you shifting through timelines and landing on the one you shifted to. It's just the process. You'll get understanding, and sometimes our understanding is in pieces, and boy, that's uncomfortable for us. I was on a hike 2 days ago. I was walking through the woods. It was gorgeous. We have a little bit of snow in the mountains, and I was following the trail guides because the trail was covered in snow, and I see a blue diamond, and I get to the blue diamond, and I said, okay, so where's the next one? Oh, there it is. But I don't see the second blue diamond or the third blue diamond or the next 10 blue diamonds. I see the next one. So we often get guidance in pieces, and our brain's like, but I want to know. It's like, get really comfortable with not knowing the big picture. It's part of our faith practice. It's part of our connection and following the energy practice.
I like that you say that, because on one level, some understanding that I've started having is that the ego aspect of us, it only knows what we've done before and what we're doing now. It doesn't know what's coming in or the future, what to do. And so many times when people are trying to figure things out, the lower mind, the beta consciousness, you're doing it not from the higher self, the ego, and it's going to only have the interpretation from what you've already done or know. It's not the new information coming in, the new formation. So I love that you're saying that step back or connect into that higher self or nature, however people can do that, because the answer is not going to be in what was already done. It's something new that's coming into form or formation energetically. So I like that it's not always just depending I think, if I'm interpreting what you're saying right, on this cognitive heavy, figuring out mental realm. I think you can bring that in, later to kind of philosophize, like we're talking now, we're using, words and ideas and mental constructs. But I think sometimes too many people get stuck there, and that you do stay, at least in my life, I've seen that if I stay there or try to figure it out from there, then I do stay stuck there.
Mm-hmm. It throws the anchor down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have the feeling of, oh my gosh, and you step out into this new space and you're like, oh, and you want to take that deep breath because you're like, oh my gosh, this feels so big. This feels so wide open. Then you know you're in the right place. You have shifted. That's your sign. You have shifted. So it's learning to feel what used to be, oh my gosh, I got to get safe. It's learning to shift what we used to read and react to understanding what that actually means now. That big open feeling, oh my gosh, am I safe? Oh my gosh, this is too big, too new. Now means, right on. I did it. Yeah.
That's the becoming. We're in that flow, that stream of consciousness. Oh, I love that. Janelle, I've loved connecting with you. Got such good, love it too, Bailey in the chat. Yeah, I love it. Let people know how they can get in touch with you and anything that you have going on. And please, always, you're welcome to come back to. I love what you've shared. Little pearls of wisdom and insight and energy shifting energy as well.
Michele, this was a powerful conversation, so in line with what you're doing in the work and how you are supporting people here and within the work that you're personally doing. Kudos to you. I celebrate you and what you bring to people. Thank you.
Ditto. I love what you've shared here, and I love what you're doing. Because to me, it's so supporting the new emerging consciousness where we're going. There's the whole focusing on the energetics. It's really a reframe. It's really opening kind of the map, back to the soul.
It sure is. It's so powerful. So what I'm doing is, I'm so excited to share with you. Thank you for opening that door. My website is JanelleRae.com. That's my website. You can check out what I've got going on. The latest will be up at the top. And reach out to me, my email, Janelle@JanelleRae.com, and let's connect. I've got my energy intelligence class starting here at the first of the year, second week in January. So it's just right around the corner. And that's where we just walk together. We walk together and we learn to interpret how your guidance or the individual's guidance guides them. So.
Beautiful. And once this is edited, all your contact info will be in the description of the live stream.
Perfect. Thank you.
Podcast as well. Well, until next time, keep shining and just doing what you're doing. It just feels so good, so confirming and supportive, really, of people's path and their own unfolding. So appreciate you being here and sharing with us today. Enjoyed this conversation.
I did as well and loved being here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Michele.
Thank you. All right, Soul Lights, thank you so much for being here as well. And those of you that are listening later to the live stream or the podcast when it goes out, available on all podcast platforms as well as Podbean here. Do me a favor, share the podcast, let others know, let others join the conversation. We want to get others joining in, and of course also keeping the conversation going. Till next time, continue to share your light, shine, and share your own insights. Lots of love and light.
I'm getting woke and staying woke. Awakenings broadcasts every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Archive shows available on iTunes. For continued awakened conversations and insights, join the Awakenings group on Facebook. And check out Michele's blog at soulplayground.com. And keep awake.